I'm an actor. I'm not a commodity. I'm not a product. I don't know. Maybe it's yet to come. I think my biggest milestone would be to find a girl like Patrulekha. Yeah, I think still pushing myself and figuring out and being in that situation. I don't know how to explore this character.
Today we have with us actor Rajkumar Rao. I am really happy to be speaking with you today. Welcome, Raj.
Thank you so much, Divya.
It wouldn't be an understatement to call 2024 the year of Rajkumar Rao because you've had 4 movie releases this year, which I think is the most for any male actor in the Hindi film industry.
No, I'm sure there have been actors who've done like 4 or 5 maybe also, yeah.
Yeah, and one of those films, 3-2, is the biggest film of the year. So, commerce and critics aside, if you had to sit back and assess your year as an actor in terms of your craft, how would you describe the year that's gone by?
No, I think it's been very fruitful. It started with Srikanth, the biopic of Srikanth Bula, where I was challenged to play a visually impaired boy because I had no idea, I had no experience. I didn't know anyone around me also who was visually impaired. So I took it as a challenge, and I knew I had to work hard, and I did that. And I love challenges in my performances also. So I'm very glad that it started with Srikanth and it got so much of love. It became a success at the box office also. And then came Mr. and Mrs. Mahi, which is such an internal performance, which is such an internal personal film. Again, that was very different from what I did in Srikanth. And then, of course, the much-awaited Stree, which I had a lot of fun making also.
Yeah.
Just like part 1, I think all of us are like this one big happy family. All of us are really close friends. It's like a bunch of friends going out and doing something together and coming back. So we knew there were a lot of expectations from Stree, but for it to do the kind of business that it did, that was overwhelming. For it to become the biggest grossing Hindi language box office film ever is a huge deal. And I'm so elated it happened with Stree. And then, of course, it was Vicky Vidya, which was a commercial entertainer, laugh out loud comedy kind of film. Again, had something different to do there also. So very glad it started with Srikanth and it ended with Vicky Vidya, which was so very 4 different kind of film, different kinds of characters, different genres. That's what I would love to do every year. Maybe not 4 films a year, that would be tough. But I would love to explore as an actor. I would love to play, different characters every time.
Yeah. In the close to 15 years that you've been in this industry, that's pretty much been your pattern, right? Playing a diverse range of characters, a wide array of characters, you've done, and different genres of films as well. Is there anything you feel that you haven't done in the past 15 years?
Oh yeah, of course. I'm sure there are so many hundreds and thousands of characters out there which I haven't done. And every story is a different story. Every character is a different character. I don't know genre-wise. I think I've done most of them. Action was left, but now with the film that I've just finished called Malik, that also got ticked. But apart from that, I would love to play characters. And I believe all of us, the 6 billion people on this planet, are all characters. We all are the leading character in our own story. So their characters are in the enormous range of characters you can find in a story, and I would love to do that all my life. I would not like to sit back and think that this is what people want to see like me in this kind of an avatar, so let's just keep doing that all my life. That would be, I think, would be the death of an artist. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to push yourself as an artist. Only then something new will come out of that.
But there are certain characters that demand you to be a lot more physical, and I'll put in a lot more acting, so to say, like for example Vicky in Stree 2. And then there are a lot more characters that are more subdued and more nuanced. So in your mind as an actor, when does that acting sort of kick in, and when is the time when you are just more like yourself, and how do you work that out in your mind?
No, you're never yourself. I think only while giving interviews you're yourself. While doing PR, maybe not only PR, while giving interviews you're yourself mostly. But while filming, I think in a film you're constantly trying to explore the complexities of that character. Yeah, while playing Vicky in Stree is more about actually having fun. It's about understanding the character right, his body language, because every character has a different energy also. We all function on different energies. Energies, I mean, like some people are a little low, and then they are little low energy people, and some people are really high and charged up.
Yeah.
So once you get the energy of the character right, and where it belongs, how he speaks, what his accent would be, uske baad, I think in a film like Stree especially, it's more about having fun within the scene. It's about improvising, maybe trying to improvise and see where it goes, having fun with your co-actors within the scene, within the framework. It's more about that. It's more about being in the moment and just have fun.
Yeah.
Don't think too much. Don't try and make it too internal, because you're doing comedy. It's just about being in the moment and being spontaneous. But when you do a film like Newton or a Shahid or Shrikant, it's more internal.
Yeah.
The process, the journey is more internal, where you understand the character, where every silence means something, every pause that you take means something. So there it's more, I would say, mentally heavier than
Yeah.
doing a Stree.
Yeah. I mean, you got your national award for Shahid, and
Yeah.
it was, like you said, a very gritty, tough
Yeah.
character to play. Does that go too far for you sometimes internally when you're...
It has happened in the past, where I've taken some characters back home very subconsciously, without even realizing it. And it sometimes, it does become heavy. You feel like you start counting days that I want to get out of this mind space, because it's getting to my head. It's getting onto my head. Like films like, of course, Shahid. Shrikant, again, physically very tough to just be in that zone throughout the shooting process,
Yeah.
where you refuse to see anything. You believe you are that person.
Yeah.
You're that guy. Films like Omerta, Newton, anything which has more drama and more layers to it, to the characters, where the struggles are more, the conflicts are more.
Even
It's
Aligarh,
bound to
I
happen.
think it
Aligarh
was...
also, it's bound to happen.
Yeah. So after 15 years with so many successes, such commercial acclaim, is there any pressure on you to build brand Rajkumar Rao in a certain way?
No, honestly, I don't really sit back and think, what is brand Rajkumar Rao? I think there is. I'm an actor. I'm not a commodity. I'm not a product. We are artists. We deal with. It's an art form. For me, cinema is an art form. So I don't see myself as a commodity. I see myself doing things that I love doing. Since I was a kid, this is the only dream that I saw, of becoming a film actor one day. And then, of course, in the journey, I met some great people, great makers. I went to my film school, which changed the whole perspective of being an actor for me. So I think for now it's about me having fun. Me having fun with my stories, me experimenting with the kind of genres I want to dive in. Of course, there was horror comedy, there's action, maybe I want to do a very hardcore, a love story, which I feel we haven't seen in a while on screen.
Yeah.
So I'm just exploring that. I'm just doing that. There's no brand or image that I'm following. I'm just listening to my gut and choosing the best out of it, whatever is available.
Yeah. You have said multiple times in the past in multiple interviews that it's not about the money for you, that you're more concerned with the art, etc., etc. This is a film industry where success is measured in a certain way. Like even at Forbes India, for the longest time, we had the Celebrity 100 list, where we drew out the top 100 actors on the basis of their revenue or how much they earn.
Correct.
And you often said that you star in economically light films, or have done that for the longest time. So how do you balance those concerns as well?
No, I think because it's also there's a business angle to it. So I don't want to be a part of films where the budgets are as I think there's a saying also that films don't fail, budget fails. So it's very important to make the film in that right economics. Of course, whatever the demand of the film is, you have to service to that.
Yeah.
But just try and be economically safe, I would say that. So I try and do that with my films. I don't want to be a part of 300, 400 crore budget film, because I think that the risk is way bigger. If somebody just goes down with that kind of a budget, it's very tough to come back. And I'm talking about the makers, As an actor, of course, I would still be doing something or the other, but it's very tough for somebody to bounce back if somebody sees that kind of a loss. It's a huge loss.
Yeah.
So I would rather do films which has like great stories attached to them, great actors attached to it, and it's in the right frame of budget where everybody is happy making it. Nobody is going through that hell while the making only, that I really want this film to work because there's so much pressure that I'm carrying. If it doesn't work, what's going to happen? And I can't work under pressure. I can't see people work under pressure also.
Yeah.
I would rather have people around me who are just happy being on that set that day, that we are getting to create something that we all believed in, and now 300 of us together in a crew just servicing that, just telling that story together.
Yeah.
So it's very important to keep the budget in mind especially when I sign a film, because as I said, I want to keep my producers also happy. Yeah.
This is an industry where commanding your value as an actor depends a lot more than just how talented you are or how good you are. How have you navigated that over the past 15 years?
Commanding
your value, commanding your worth as an actor.
I think you have to believe in what you do, and you have to keep going. I think that's the only formula I would say. I never had a strategy. I never had a strategy. I never had a plan that for 3 years I'm going to do this, and then 2 years I'll try this. I just kept going. I just kept working.
Yeah.
And that's what I think worked for me. And people see that. I think people see the intent that you have behind your work, and people see that sincerity, that honesty in your work. And in my case, I'm just thankful, and there's a lot of gratitude to makers, to producers, to writers, and to our audiences, who have accepted me and who saw that the intent is right. The reason I make film, the reason I act, my intent is right. My intent is my heart is at the right place.
Yeah. And what I also see is that dream that you mentioned earlier that you've kept alive, and it's also grown stronger, if I may say. So as a child, you are not from a film background. You're from if I may say, quote unquote, a regular household. How did that dream come about for you as a kid?
I grew up in a joint family in Gurgaon, and of course I wasn't raised with money. Of course, there were a lot of hardships, but there was a lot of love, amongst the family. So, and all of us used to watch films on weekends as a big joint family, and I just fell in love with those stories. I was very mesmerized with those actors, and that world that I was watching on television as a kid. I was totally sucked into it, and I was totally invested in those stories, in those characters, and I just fell in love with cinema, with films. And at very early stage of my life, I think I was in class 9th or 10th, I decided that this is what I want to do. I want to be in this world. I want to do what these guys do. Of course, without having any knowledge of how it's going to happen and how they make it. Just as a kid was the thought that this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I think God just started showing me path, and I started doing theatre in school. And then after schooling, I started doing theatre. During my graduation also, I used to do theatre in college also. There was a lot of drama and stage that was happening at that time. And then luckily, Film Institute, FTI Pune, they restarted their acting course.
Yeah.
So mine was the second batch. I joined in 2005. Right after my graduation, I went to my film school. And after that, of course, as I said earlier, everything changed. The whole perspective of being an actor changed. I started exploring international cinema, international makers, actors.
Yeah.
I was open to a very new world, which I had no idea about.
Yeah.
And there I decided that this is the kind of work even I would love to do, because it's not about look a certain way, say the dialogue in a certain way, and be this actor. It's more about just living the part. It's about putting oxygen and putting life in that character. Yeah.
What would you consider your biggest milestones in the past 15 years?
Biggest milestone? Oh, I don't know, maybe it's yet to come. I think my biggest milestone would be to find a girl like Patrulekha. Yeah, I think that would be, as of now, would be the biggest milestone. Yeah.
Right. Could you elaborate on that? How has she contributed to your life and your career?
We've been together for now 14 years, I think, and 3 years of marriage in that. But especially in this city, the industry that we work in, there can be so much of anxiety, there can be so much of, loneliness. But when you have a great emotional support, I feel things become easier. And I'm very glad that, Patrulika has been with me since my first film, LSD. That's when we met, and and rest is history, of course. But she's been my anchor, she's been my core, the biggest support that I have in my life, my biggest strength. So I think that, I look forward to go back home once I'm done with my work, because I find happiness there, I find purity there.
Yeah. If you had to go back and think about the most challenging time of your career or the most challenging experience of your career, what would that be? And how did you deal with it, and were there any lessons that you took away from that episode?
Well, I think, there have been different challenges and different at different times. After Stree, some of the films didn't work, and then not working is fine, but people not liking it is a problem for me. Because you believe in something, you feel that, you've given everything to that film, but for people to not like it gives you a shocker in a way. Yeah. So I realized that how I have to maybe think different. Maybe I'm liking something, I'm just seeing the character, maybe that, I would have fun exploring this character. But the whole story, who's making it, who's the director, because filmmaking is a director's medium, so it's very important to have the right maker for that particular story. So that taught me, those films taught me that lesson that, it's all about the maker, nothing else. You can do whatever you want with the story, you can be the best actor in the world, but if the director is not there, you'll never have a good film in hand.
Right.
People might talk about your performance, but it's the film that you want people to talk about, and not only about your performance.
Right. Are there any specific mantras that you hold dear when you are out there going to, getting into a character or facing the camera, and that always helps you?
Just never to forget why I wanted to be an actor. Yeah, I think, as I said, intent, it all comes down to intent for me. I would never forget that. That, this is something which I love, I absolutely love every day. It's been 15 years now, but the love keeps growing. There are days where I get stuck, that I don't know how this scene would happen. I'm feeling lost. But I think that fear is very good. That fear is very important for me to push myself. So that's the only mantra, never to forget, why you started it. Yeah.
What are the next 15 years looking like? Give us some big goals that you have in mind.
No idea. I'm not a futuristic person at all. I have no idea what I'm going to do after 5 days. So 15 years, I don't know, to be honest. As I said earlier, in the beginning, I never sit back and plan and strategize. Because I feel it's an art form. You are dealing with raw emotions and creating a life, a different life altogether, who's not you at all. So you can't plan things. You can't plan. For me, it's not only commerce. It's not only, and I'm not chasing anything, to be honest. I'm not chasing that I want to be this biggest superstar this country has seen. I will be what I have to be, and whatever is in my destiny, and whatever universe has to offer, I'm more than happy. As long as I get to work every day, I'm on a film set, still pushing myself and figuring out and being in that situation. I don't know how to explore this character. I'm very happy.
You are certainly one of the most accomplished and cherished stars of this country, for sure. Thank you so much, Raj.
Thank you,
It was
Divya.
wonderful speaking with you.
Thanks a lot. Likewise.
Damn.